Welcome back to KLR, the Photo Guru YouTube channel. I am KL Rajapansai. Camera shake, especially this is a big problem or big challenge for a beginner who is starting with photography. How to avoid the camera shake or the handshake in our photos. Sometimes when you take pictures, you find there is a gentle or a mild jerk in the picture because you are not holding the camera properly, or maybe you are using a slower shutter speed that results in a camera shake. This is a problem which cannot be even fixed sometime in the post-production process. So you need to be very careful about this camera shake when you take the pictures. I'm going to share with you at least about 5 important tips to avoid the camera shake. Before I start the video, if you have not subscribed my channel, please go ahead and subscribe it and press the bell button for the notification. Camera shake becomes very much obvious, or it actually happens whenever the light is not enough and the camera works in the slow shutter speed. If we choose to work in a very slow shutter speed, then the camera exposes the light for a longer time, and in that time, if your hand is shaking, that is being recorded as a gentle blur. So it is easy to avoid the camera shake if you are using a faster or higher shutter speed. Now here, the faster or the higher shutter speed depends upon the lens what you are using. When you are using a longer focal length lenses, it magnifies the subject and it also magnifies the camera shake. For example, if you are using a kit lens like this, 80x55, and you are shooting at 55, then your shutter speed should not be less than 1/60. So always put 1 above the focal length of the lens. That could be your minimum shutter speed to avoid the camera shake. So if you are going for a 200mm lens, it's very simple. Your shutter speed should be not less than 1/250. So this is how you manage the camera shake or the handshake. But how to get these higher shutter speeds when the light is not enough? There are 2 options for that. One is to open the aperture to the maximum. In this case, you can open up to 3.5 or you can open up to 5.6. So when you open the aperture wider, then it is possible to increase your shutter speed higher. Otherwise, you can also increase the ISO higher so that you can always increase the shutter speed higher. So the ISO and the aperture are something which could help you to work with higher shutter speed options. So this is very important, and you can always use a higher shutter speed. There is also another way to avoid the handshake or the camera shake, that is by activating the VR function or the IS function of your lens in some cameras, and the in-body stabilization in mirrorless cameras. So this is something interesting. When you are activating the VR or IS image stabilization, then your camera takes care of the slower shutter speed. Your camera can support, or it can stabilize the image even if you are reducing the shutter speed to the extent of 3 to 4 stops. For example, if you are shooting with a 200mm lens, as I told you earlier, your shutter speed should not be less than 1/250. But if you are switching on the IS or the VR function, then your camera can work little slower. That is, from 1/250, it can go to 1/125, or sometimes 1/60, or even 1/30. So this is an additional advantage of new generation lenses which has got VR and IS functions and some mirrorless cameras where you got the image stabilization in the body. Please activate that so that you are sure about getting a sharp picture without the camera shake or the handshake. The fourth option with us is using a tripod. Tripod is basically to support a camera and take pictures even in the slow shutter speeds. Use a sturdy tripod, and the tripod can hold your camera steady, and you can reduce your shutter speed also in low light condition, or maybe if you are shooting in the night time, or you are shooting anything which is for a longer exposure and all, then in such cases your tripod will come as a very handy tool and all. If you are more serious about taking some creative pictures, maybe like traffic trials or cityscapes in the night time, or maybe creating a milky feel of water. So these are the areas that time you can use your camera on a tripod, thereby you can avoid the handshake or the camera shake. In case you are not able to avoid the camera shake by choosing all the earlier options, You can try using a flash. In flash photography, the exposure is been happening only when the flash fires. The flash fires at a very high speed, so you will not get the camera shake even if you choose to work at slightly a slower shutter speed. These are the 5 tips which you can remember to use to avoid the camera shake. Please check the camera shake in your camera's LCD monitor, enlarge the image and look at the edge of the images or maybe the border portion which will show you the mild jerk if at all it is there. If you look at the LCD monitor in the normal magnification, normal level, you may not be able to identify the camera shake. So later when you take it to the computer, you will see that the image is slightly blurred because of the camera shake. In this video, I have shared at least 5 tips with you to avoid the unwanted camera shake or the camera blur. This will be definitely useful for a beginner who is starting with a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera. If you find this information useful, please like the video, share with your friends and subscribe to my channel KLR the Photo Guru and press the bell button for the updates. I'll catch up with similar simple videos. Take care.